Hello everybody. Today what we're going to be looking at is simplifying expressions and algebra tiles. We're really going to be focused on simplifying expressions and evaluating expressions. So on this example it says I have 8 times x squared minus 4 times the quantity of 1 plus x squared. Evaluate for x equals 1/2. So what that means is I'm going to plug in 1/2 every time I see x and I'm going to solve it. So this is going to look like 8 times 1/2 to the second power minus 4 times 1 plus 1/2 squared. And so when I square that, whenever I have a power to a power, that's just going to be 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4. So I'm going to have 8 times 1/4 minus 4 times the quantity of 1 plus 1/4. All right, so then I'm going to have 8 times 1/4, which is 2, minus 4 times the quantity of 1 and 1/4. So when I add 1 and 1/4, it's just 1 and 1/4. And I'm going to turn that into 5/4. It'll be easier when I solve. So times 5/4. So when I distribute this, or multiply this, it's going to be 2 minus 20 over 4. And 20 over 4 just reduces to 5. So 2 minus 5 is equal to -3. And -3 is your final answer there. So looking at the next one now, it says evaluate 2 plus 3g plus 2g squared plus 4g squared plus 9g plus 7 when g is 0.25. So let's go ahead and plug this in. I'm going to have 2 plus 3 times 0.25 plus 2 times 0.25 parentheses to the second power. Now since it's all addition, I'm just going to ignore the parentheses in the original problem. So it's going to be 4 plus 0.25 to the second power plus 9 times 0.25 plus 7. So what I'm personally going to do here is I am going to clean this up. It looks really messy to me. So I'm going to look at all my whole numbers. So I have 7, I have 2, and I'm going to add those first. So that's going to give me a 9. Second thing I'm going to do is I am going to multiply 3 times 0.25 and 9 times 0.25. So I'm going to add 0.75. 3 times 0.25 is 0.75. Plus 9 times 0.25 is 2 and 25/100ths. And I can combine that to 9 plus 3, which is 12. All right, so let me highlight that, show that I've already used that. So now all I have to do is 0.25 to the second power times 2, as well as times 4. So let's go ahead and bring in a calculator to help with that. So if I have 0.25 to the second power times 2, that'll be, oops, let me get my pen back. That would be 125/100ths. Now same idea. Let's go ahead and do 0.25 to the second power times 4. That would give me 25/100ths. And now when I add all those up, I'm going to be left with 12 and 375 thousandths as my final answer. So now that we got done evaluating, let's go ahead and simplify some of these. Now I want you to remember we can only combine variables that are exactly the same and that also have the same exponent. So on most of these we're going to be looking at all the exponents are just 1 on the variable. So let's go ahead and start with distributing. So I'm going to distribute this 2. So you get 2t minus 2n plus 11n minus 3t plus 3n. So now I'm going to look at just my n's. I have -2n, positive 11n, positive 3n. When I combine all of those, I'm going to have 12n. Now I'm going to go ahead and look at my t's. I got negative 3t and positive 2t. So when I combine those, that will give me negative t. So your final answer would just be 12n minus t. All right, and the last one we're going to look at, I brought up this one because it has different exponents on the variables. Remember, you can only combine variables that are exactly the same. So while these are all a's, I can only combine some of them, and those are the ones that have the same exponent. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute this negative 1 to everything. So I'm going to rewrite 11a to the fourth plus 2a to the second. Now let's go and distribute that to get negative a minus 5a squared plus a to the third power minus 6a to the fourth. I'm going to bring up my highlighter and look at just the a. So I have that. Or actually, so I have just an a. And things with an a squared, it would be these two terms. And a to the third would be this one right here. And last but not least, a to the fourth power. So we can start with a to the fourth power. If I have 11a to the fourth power minus 6a to the fourth power, that is going to give me 5a to the fourth power. We don't add or subtract the exponents when we are adding and subtracting. We keep them the same. So we have used these. Then I just have plus an a to the third. Then I'm going to have minus 2a to the second. So that got rid of these. And I'm going to just have minus a. All right, and we can't combine anything else. So we are done there. If you have any other questions, please let me know.